Alright folks, here's part 3 of our garden update. Now, as you notice, we got a new fence because the old one was like just about ready to fall down at the next strongest wind. And the guys were like, oh, well, because you got your garden and your dirt back here, we'll probably just put the post on the inside rather than give you the smooth side like that side of the fence. And you know what? I am glad they did that. Why am I glad they did that? Because the posts are on this side. And if you'll notice here, as I get closer, I put up a trellis because that's all growing space vertically. Now, if you notice, I've got my rolls here. I had to put everything just out of the way. But you get a roll of 4 foot. I got the 4 foot. I use the 3 foot for my vertical trellis. But I got the 4 foot since the fence is so tall. But anyways, I used the zip ties to tie them up, and I went the whole length of the back fence because this is all future growing area. Let me get closer and show you. Basically, here's the metal post, and then you get the zip tie, big black zip tie here. It's UV protected, so it'll last for a couple years. And then you just tighten it up. That ain't going anywhere. That's sturdy with just 3 of them in there. And that trellis, like I say, as I walk and not trip, goes all the way down the back of the fence. This is all growing space, people. I mean, look at all the trellises that I've built to grow stuff, right? This is free wall here, growing wall space. So all I did was roll it out, tie it up, and now back behind here in that dirt, I am going to put cucumbers or melons or anything that needs to vine up. One of the first things I did, I'll show you here, is plant a Hearty Kiwi. Yeah, exactly, folks. Kiwi right there. That's a Hearty Kiwi. And a little bit further down there is the pollinating companion. So you'll notice that it's there too. And that vines. It vines greatly. Here is, if you remember, my persimmon tree. It's growing really well. And here, of course, is the pomegranate tree that doesn't grow very well. No pomegranates for all the years my family has had it grown there. It's going to come down. But getting back to the kiwi, yeah, we're zone 8. Even in the winter climates, it can get up there and you can grow it. You might have to cut it back and stuff like that, but that's going to vine up. And I'm going to teach it to vine over on the trellis part. And even if it over vines on the other side of the fence, big deal. I got a gate back there. I'll go and pick kiwis. Now, these aren't the giant kiwis you buy at the grocery store. These are what they call a Hearty Kiwi. They're smaller, probably more tomato grape size, maybe a little bit bigger, but they're very sweet, very tasty. And so we're going to give it a shot. Why? Because I got the space. Why not? Let's make it the food forest. Also, because we've planted the flowers, I've put in 2 artichokes. Well, actually more than that, but 2 artichokes here. And as we go down, this is the apricot tree. I've got an artichoke and an artichoke. And today I just put in 2 cardoons. I've been growing them from seed. So there's cardoons, which is a artichoke basically that doesn't grow into an artichoke, but you eat the leaves and it tastes like an artichoke. So it's basically an artichokeless artichoke. So that's a different kind of plant, and they will thrive here. They're ornamental too, so if you don't want to eat it, you can just look at it. In Texas here, it will last the winter. It does good. The tomatoes, boy oh boy, since all that rain we had there, the tomatoes have just starting to come alive and get tall. I started to prune them, get rid of the bottom leaves, and now I'll start to tie them up here and secure them because they're going to get tall and they'll fall over. Same over here on this side. I've got the tomatoes and marigolds. I planted marigolds so we get some pollinators, right? And maybe they keep away bugs. Who knows if that really works, but at least they'll attract flowers, bees to the flowers. And then I've got eggplant there, and I put in my sunflower, so that's getting really tall. And of course, what eats bugs? Mr. Lizard, who's sunning himself on this rock. Look at that, folks. I got lots of these these lizards, which is great because I eat bad things. Here's the fig tree that's doing well. I'm probably going to move them out of the container towards the end of the season. Get them into the ground, let them spread out. We'll have more luck that way. Continuing on this side, of course, is the Hearty hybrid buckets. These are peppers, habanero, ghost peppers, and eggplants. And you can see that they're doing very well, right? I don't have the irrigation hooked up, so I've been manually watering, but we've gotten so much rain, they're fine. So this bucket row is doing fine. I don't know if I'm going to leave it exactly here in the bucket in this place. I can move them around. I still got all this space in front here to put more peppers, tomatoes, whatever plants that I want. You know, it's just been busy, so it's hard to do a lot when you're working a job and coming home and then finding time. So it moves slowly but surely. Of course, the fruit trees, the mulberry, the nectarine, and the plucot are here, as well as this other persimmon tree that's growing very strongly, my olive tree that's more decoration than olives, and then the lemon and the lime trees, which look healthy and flowering here on this guy. Not so many flowers on this guy yet, but definitely flowers here, and a hibiscus. So yeah, so this side's doing good. I put a little marigolds in there. Maybe I'll attract some bees and pollinators. So it's coming along on this side. Lots of work, you know. Things are always to be done in the garden. So that's part 3. We will now show you the rest of the garden, how it's doing.